Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is the first episode of Grandma's Speed Shop's podcast, Grandma's Secrets. We're going to hear diesel talk, a little bit about our shop here. It's kind of the first episode, so we're going to jump into it. All right. Today with me, I have the owners of the shop. I got Daniel here, Patrick. Got one of the shop techs over here, Josh. I'm Brett, the service advisor here. And we just wanted to get together, talk about the shop, a little bit about the industry, and things that we think are cool. So with that, we'll shoot right into it. Gentlemen, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
So the number one question, and I'm sure a lot of people watching will wonder too, is how did you guys come up with the name Grandma's Speed Shop? It is definitely a question I get answering the phones constantly. How'd that come up? How'd that come up? So just kind of walk us through how you guys came up with it.
Well, the short answer is it started in my grandma's two-car garage, and all our friends thought it was a joke, called it that, you know. We grab a case of beer, come over to Grandma's Speed Shop, so we just kind of ran with it. Long story is somewhere in high school, I kind of like took over my grandma's two-car garage. She wasn't using it. My dad wouldn't let me use his. I bought a car that needed immense amounts of repair. So we cleaned that thing out, and I just kind of started working on cars, and eventually I met this guy, and we just kind of joined forces, and also, you know, kind of started working on things there, and it was just kind of, it was more of definitely a hobby when it started,
Sure,
right?
Yeah.
But eventually we were like, working for somebody else sucks. Let's go get a shop, so.
Truck out on your own, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
But I mean, we did all kinds of good stuff there. I mean, I had an SRT4 Neon, big turbo Neon, that I ended up trading for maybe the world's most busted 7.3. I mean,
That's saying a lot because that was like 15 plus years ago. So 7.3s were definitely nicer back then.
cream of the crop. I mean, it had a different tire. You know, it had like mismatched wheels. It didn't have an axle shaft in the one side, which we didn't know until we got it home. So I mean, it needed some love, and we did. We must have swapped 3 sets of axles in that thing, just in the driveway. All kinds of good stuff. It was kind of like Monster Garage. You know?
Yeah. Go on Craigslist.
Yeah.
Buy an axle.
Back when Craigslist was a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
Hope
Buy an
that
axle.
doesn't kill him.
Buy an axle. It locks up at 3 a.m. on my way to work. Shears the axle shaft off. So buy another set of axles.
Remember, he drove around for a couple days with like no cover on the front axle because it was just exploded and it didn't matter.
She was already toast.
Yeah.
And at that age, like, did it really matter? No. You don't really care a whole hell of a lot about much. You know, we were young.
Yeah.
If it runs and gets you somewhere, you're good, right?
Right. I mean, I think I was probably somewhere in the 23 range, which puts him like 20, 21, somewhere in there. So, like,
Things were weird.
Diesel trucks at that age are, you know, they're expensive, so you kind of have to buy a clapped out one and put it back together. So it's kind of what we did for a long time. I mean, his big thing was I want it as big and as tall as I can, and it rode just accordingly.
It rode pretty bad.
So
I think it was Fab Tech leaf springs. I think it was like 12 pack.
Nice.
They were
10-inch lift. They look at you.
Yeah.
You know.
My back hurts thinking about it.
That's what made me get rid of that thing. I could not for the life of me drink a cup of coffee on my way to work without spilling it.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sure. Sooner or later, you gotta get something that rides halfway decent.
Mature into a smoother truck, right?
Yeah.
You know,
The luxuries.
full-on adult.
Was it always a love for diesel with you guys? Did you always like them? Were you like, diesel life, or did you guys just kind of get into wrenching and then lean into that?
So me personally, I was always into cars from day one. It was actually my good friend Bobby's uncle owned a shop and used to go drag racing with them, and those guys all drove diesel trucks.
Right.
So obviously we looked up to them.
Yeah, for
You
sure.
know, shout out Joe Jacobs if he happens to hear this, but he's got a couple of successful shops, and we always looked up to those guys. They drove diesel trucks. They'd run them down the drag strip when they weren't racing their cars. So that's what always made me want one. And I obviously was, heavy into cars, and then I met him, and he already had one. And I was like,
Dang.
fuck, I need one. So
Yeah, I was a few years older than the group, so
Yeah, you
I
were.
was like the
you're old. He just
catalyst, the catalyst for the diesel trucks. I mean, I kind of just showed up with a diesel truck one day, and then next thing you know, they just started popping up in our group of friends, like boom, 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 boom.
Trendsetter.
Like, yeah, trendsetter. Yeah. So next thing you know, we had a bunch of them to work on all of a
Okay.
sudden, and kind of had to figure it out.
couldn't
Nice.
afford to pay anybody
No.
to work on them.
No, and I was just like kind of starting my diesel career at the dealership,
Right.
learning. So it was, I was kind of working on them on both sides,
Gotcha, yeah.
so it was cool.
So you cut your teeth at the dealership and then decided to jump in.
Yeah, no, when I was at the dealership, I was just doing like oil and lube, and they were like, well, what's your future look like? And I kind of looked around the shop, and the one thing that was always missing from the shop was a diesel tech. Like, they could never keep one, they could never find one, no matter how much they paid. And I was like, well, there's a demand for that. I don't want to be just, the guy that's,
Right.
just doing suspension and stuff. Not that there's anything wrong with that, just there's a lot more competition. So I just picked something that was,
Yeah.
not so easy, and kind of ran with it, and it kind of worked out. Like, the universe kind of drew me towards it. I mean, my love for diesels probably started back in like high school. We used to cruise Gratiot, back in the day. Like,
Yeah.
you get your cars, and,
Showing your age. Now, when was high school?
Yeah. Well, we won't go into that. But,
If you want to guess in the comments, go ahead.
but I can remember a specific incident of us being there, lined up at a light. There was a Mustang, there was us and some clapper, and there was some guy in a 4-door long bed OBS. And like, I remember he whooped everybody's butts, and I was instantly like, what is this contraption?
Yeah.
Why is it, smoking and like
Right.
spanking everybody's butts?
Yeah.
And that guy continued to whoop people for like weeks out there, like just leaving the lights. So like, I just like, then I knew I had the diesel itch, and
Nice.
kind of worked out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I met him through our buddy Bobby and like that group, and like we just all clicked on cars and trucks, and like anything with a motor or wheels that moved, like we were in.
Yeah, remember my lawnmower?
Yeah, we pimped out your lawnmower the
We
one
put up my
time.
lawnmower, and then it caught on fire.
No governor, no muffler,
Yeah.
no
What
air
was its stats?
filter.
What'd you stack it out
Yeah.
with? What'd you guys do?
Dude, we lowered it and stuff, and like first time I tried to cut the lawn, I'm getting shit to bed.
Because it was just zinging. It was like, a couple hundred RPMs more than it was capable of making.
That grass didn't know what hit it.
But that was it. Like anything we could modify, we're like, let's tune it up and
Yeah.
see what we can do here.
Yeah, we modified everything. So,
Mhm.
Nice, nice.
'cause again, like in those early days, we didn't have no money,
No.
Yeah.
So it was just whatever you get your hands on,
We're too
Well,
stupid to know any better.
Yeah.
You make it work.
Who let us out in this world and let us do these kind of things? Like,
Unsupervised.
I'm sure certain people today can understand that too,
Mhm.
because I just feel like everything's a lot more complicated now and a lot harder
Oh,
to
yeah.
do that kind of stuff with. But
Sure.
Yeah.
Many more
Yeah.
parts.
many
Yeah.
parts.
How about you, Josh? What drove you to diesel?
boy.
What got you into it?
Well, kind of just, we grew up always wrenching. Dad make us do his oil changes, change the starter to his brakes, I started at working on semis actually when I was 15 at the gravel company. And I was, started working, making money, and that's kind of where it all took off. I liked wrenching.
Mm-hmm.
And it just kind of trickled down to that. Always started doing stuff at home, and I actually went to trade school for it. But the turning point to that, I remember I was actually supposed to be going to go be an engineer back in high school. That's what I wanted to do, mechanical engineering, sit at a desk, do programming. Which, looking back, I'm glad I didn't do it.
Yeah.
You're not weird enough for it.
No,
No.
yeah, I'm a little weird, but not weird enough. And I just remember halfway through my senior year, I just I hit a turning point. I'm not me. I'm done with school. I can't do 4 or 5 more years at a university. So I actually got into a trade school. It's called Wild Tech. I think they're actually still open to this day. But
Okay.
went there for a year, then I got my job. I was working on semis at the Volvo dealership. Worked there for 8.5 years before I came here.
Nice.
But I was always
Right.
working at home. As
Right
soon as
on.
I bought my house, and then I had a hoist at home, and that kind of draws people, you know,
Yeah.
your buddies of buddies, you know, you got a
For
hoist
sure,
and a trailer, you're the most popular guy around, you know. But always just doing a lot of side work at home, and that kind of just trickled down. I like working on pickups. I've owned a diesel since I was 18 years old. Started out with a 6.0,
Nice.
you know, and it taught me a lot, because same aspect, I couldn't afford to take to a shop, you know, even when I was working, it still cost a lot of money.
You know.
So whatever happened, I just figured it out. You know, park it for a week and figure it out and go from there. But it definitely was a learning thing. I still enjoy it. So working on them every day now, it's nice. You know, a little easier on the body, I think. Pickups.
Yeah. Not
Semis.
savvy.
Semis got old, man.
Oh, I bet.
Climbing up and down a tower to work on anything on the motor. Semis were getting old and rough on me, and I'm getting older. So
Awesome. And then, so how did you guys end up acquiring this draft pick here? Did you you lured him away, or?
So
No,
I
one
needed,
draft
I think I needed a wire diagram for a Cummins.
did.
And I was telling my parts guy, Elvire, that, and he was like, hey, I got this great guy. He works, you know, at, you know, the Cummins dealer. And I was like, okay, cool. And so he gave me his number, and I called Josh, and like instantly I knew that he knew what he was talking about. And I was like, I kind of want this guy. So, you know, I talked to Dan about it, and like we just threw the idea out there into the wind to him, and Josh was like, yeah, I'm in. Next thing you know, he was here interviewing and quitting his job, and
Yeah.
like,
Caught me
you
on a
know,
bad day.
like I was genuinely surprised how quick that all transpired. You know, it just again, it was just fate. It was like just the universe, like, you know.
Definitely was, you know. I was
So
kind of already thinking about it, and like this was like the heavens opening up. Like,
Yeah,
hey, you know
nice.
what?
That's
It don't hurt.
That's right.
You know.
Try something new, new adventure, right timing.
Yeah,
Awesome.
definitely the right timing.
Very cool. So, kind of going back to you guys. Obviously, you're business owners,
Yeah.
right? The American dream, own a business, have like a maybe not so popular.
It's been a
sometimes,
good
but-
week.
Yeah, it's been a good week.
It's been a rough day.
What were some challenges? You know, you guys get together. Maybe you got your first. This is the second building. You got your first building. What were some early challenges like to kind of hurdle?
gosh, there's so many
Yeah,
challenges along the way.
Literally
I-
every day is a challenge.
Every day.
Yeah.
Everybody that like looks and goes, "Oh, business looks good, must be nice." Like you have no idea. It's, it's rough.
Got a couple of gray beard or gray hairs out of it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like you get to that next milestone, and it's harder than the last. So you just like each step you make, like it's increasingly harder. Every day like is more of a challenge for us because now you add the employee aspect to it.
Sure, yeah.
You add the the immense amount of clientele we have these days, and like
Yeah, managing personalities is tough.
yeah, and just like just
the end of the
trying
day.
to manage everybody's expectations and like trying to give you the best product we can humanly can with like
Right. Yeah.
all the issues you have with parts and this and that, and like just at the end of the day we're trying to give people something back that's good and quality, and
Right.
like, sometimes it doesn't always work out just because of
For sure.
issues with this or that or the other thing, and like I mean, me and Dan could probably sit here and list like
Yeah,
1,000 different.
I couldn't
like,
even begin.
Yeah.
I don't know where to
Like,
start.
So
but,
a tough challenge, needless to
Yeah,
say.
I mean, it's definitely, especially starting out, like you're just kind of you learn, and I mean we're still learning, but like
you learn every day.
yeah,
Yeah,
I mean
You kind of have no choice because if you don't learn, you sink, and
yeah.
you know.
So
But I mean, starting out was tough. We used to work on anything. Like at the very beginning, like not a whole lot of people were willing to trust a couple of punk kids with their $80,000 trucks. I
Sure.
mean,
It was just you two, right?
It
I
was.
didn't have
It was just-
employees till
No.
years after.
It was just
Yeah.
us. We didn't have a phone or anything. We used our cell phones. It was, we had a building and we were just trying to pay the rent.
yeah, and then the early year, or so we were working day jobs. I was at the
Yep.
dealership. He was at his mold injection company, and like we'd leave those jobs, come there, wrench on people's stuff till 1, 2 in the morning, go home, try to get a couple hours of sleep, go back to it.
Yep.
I mean, we literally, we cut our teeth. I honestly don't think I could do that schedule today.
Yeah.
I mean,
Probably not.
we whooped ourselves pretty hard back then, and then eventually we were like, what are we doing? Like, we got to make that leap. You know, we
Yeah.
made that leap and quit our jobs, and like it just kind of was like history after that. Like we just
Well, because we didn't have a choice.
Yeah, yes.
At that point,
Yeah.
you had
Sink or
no
swim,
choice.
yeah.
yeah, and I mean
Make money or starve, and I don't
we're
like
hungry.
starving.
You know, we were
Yeah.
extremely hungry. So like he said, we took everything and anything, and you know, just kind of
Yeah.
ran with it.
Yeah, eventually we got like a reputation. You know, started
Yeah.
just working on diesels, but it definitely took a little while.
Yeah,
Nice.
I mean,
yeah. I mean, we still have some customers to this day that you know were like our
Yeah.
OG original,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
helped us get rolling.
Yeah.
You know, and
yeah, I just talked to one of them like an hour ago.
They like that. They brag about it when they call. They're like, I remember Dan and Pat at the old building.
Yeah.
I was there when they just had a couple, just them. And
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
take kind of pride in that. I think they're
That's
happy
cool.
to see you guys.
Yeah.
Back in my day.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean,
But no, I think if there's one lesson that I had, like, I don't even know if it's a lesson, but it's like something that I realized is I when we were first starting out, I always remember looking at the big guys. Or like, we get a customer who had a business and, we thought was like super, killing it well off.
Mhm.
Oh my God. And I remember thinking like, oh, once we get to that guy's level, I bet he's got no worries. And now, here we are 15 years later, obviously leveled up a few playing fields, and now it's way worse actually. It's considerably worse. Like, everything's just that much harder.
Yeah.
Everything stretches you out that much more.
and I mean, we obviously we listen to lots of entrepreneur podcasts and stuff like that. But the one guy we listen to, Bedros, his analogy always works really good for me. It's, you're climbing a mountain and there's a dragon at this step. But you get there, you defeat that dragon. Now you're climbing on the next one. You get to a bigger dragon.
Right. Yeah.
That's how I feel kind of every day. Like
Yeah.
we're trying to defeat that next
Yeah.
dragon. That next,
Right.
And I mean it's tough. It's tough, but it's the most rewarding thing ever.
It is.
So it's like you.
Yeah, I wouldn't trade it for the world.
No, I definitely couldn't go
Yeah.
back to working for somebody. Let's say that.
Nice.
It's. But again, it's not easy.
No.
But I would just tell everybody that wants to do it, just keep going.
Yeah.
Don't stop. Never give up.
Yeah, that's all you can do.
It's always been our thing. We've never, I think in all the years of us doing this, I've never let a truck leave here with like we can't figure this out, sorry. That's
Yeah.
always been our mantras.
Mhm.
We're going to figure it out, hell or high water, whatever I got to do. So
Mhm.
that's always been our thing. So that's I
Nice.
mean, really the gist of it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So, kind of shifting into the industry now. Obviously, there's probably been some pretty big advancements since like the 7.3s to now we're on the 6.7s, right? Things have changed. Technology has advanced. Obviously, we got better
Yeah.
tools for the job. What's something that's your like go-to? Like, what do you Josh? Like, when you're in the shop working on a truck, like, what is your favorite tool or go-to tool? Like something that's really you really like. I like this, or it's helped a lot.
Well, definitely when it comes down to the newer stuff, you cannot figure out a truck out there most of the part without a scanner. A good scan tool, really.
Yeah.
All the emissions that you're talking, a truck's got 15 to 20 different modules now. If you get a brand new 24 with all fully loaded,
Yeah.
and without a scan tool, it's useless. It throws a light in the dash where there's nothing you can't do. That's probably definitely the first tool to grab, I would think.
The days of like the backyard mechanic or
Gone.
like it's, maybe suspension parts, but that's about it. Like, there's not a whole lot you can do anymore without
I mean, we
electronics.
spend thousands on scanners every year,
Mhm.
factory tools, scanners, like just trying to keep up with it all, because if you don't, then like you might as well just give the work to somebody else because
Yeah.
like you can't do it if you can't program it, if you can't, reset it, all that kind of stuff. Like it's part of the game these days,
Mhm.
electronics, and
Mhm.
I think we're gonna see another shift here pretty soon, especially with AI and everything. I know the
Yeah.
scanner companies have been coming out with like their own versions of it on the scanners, so I think that's going to be the next big advancement when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, soon enough those things are going to diagnose for you
Yeah.
to an extent.
Yeah.
Damn,
I'm
you
sure-
don't need me anymore.
You
You
can't
always
change the
need-
part,
No.
but
Yeah.
I bet
Not
you,
yet.
I bet you we're not the first ones talking about this. I bet that's in the pipeline somewhere.
Yeah.
It's coming.
It's doing everything else. So
Yeah. So all we can do is try to keep growing with the industry and
Yep.
you know, keep up with
Yeah,
it all, you know,
absolutely.
and still try to give the customers the best result at the end. You know, because we don't want to just fix your truck. We want to try to make it better.
Yeah.
That's always the
That's-
goal. Just try to make it better.
It's a good goal to have.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for sitting down. You know, appreciate you coming in talking about it. Thank you all for joining us here. We appreciate you tuning in for the first episode. Hope you liked it. If there's something you want us to talk about, a topic you're curious about, leave a comment down there. Like it. Hopefully, we'll put some more stuff out. Like I said, thanks for you guys. Shout out to our camera and audio guy, Alex, sitting behind the camera there. You guys can't see him, but he's here. And we'll see you guys next time then. All right. Thank you, and take care, everyone.
Thank you.